Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another AlphaStar commentary. As per the usual, we are going to be having AlphaStar in an AlphaStar commentary, believe it or not. And so we have got a buggy AI here. No pun intended. AlphaStar. Pretty good, but it is actually a little buggy in this. In this case, it's actually a little bit literally buggy. In the top left-hand side of the map, we have got ourselves a diamond player. It is a Terran who's already gone for something a little bit odd. A low-ground wall-off is the choice for this diamond player. I think that's kind of cool. I personally have no hate for low-ground wall-offs, but this guy also halted this SCV mining. He probably wants to fix that. Mistake from the diamond player already. Now an SCV is moving out. He's going to be scouting out AlphaStar's base just to make sure there's no early cheese. So he gets bonus. So he gets points for going for a low-ground wall-off, which is cool. He gets points for SCV scouting, but he loses points for having that SCV sitting idle for a minute. So, SCV scouting out, put on actually patrol, so it's going to go back and forth. Should just go on home, though, as soon as possible. And then the game will progress from here. Orbital command on the way. I'm curious what this Terran's going to do with the low ground wall off. Interestingly enough, he opens 2 racks before... Like, he goes 2 racks before he actually goes for a CC, which is quite an odd build. Like, this is not your usual build, that's for sure. It's way aggressive. It's not economic at all. It does give him a solid wall off, though, so I'm not sure what to say. Now, this Marine is going to move out. It's going to potentially catch an Overlord, which would be a big deal for the Diamond player. I don't know how many times AlphaStar loses Overlords to a random Marine out on the map first thing. We have got ourselves a couple more barracks on the way for the Diamond player, interestingly enough. And here I was like, oh, is this going to be like a complete turtle build or something? Nope, it's a proxy rack, just proxied at the wrong natural. So, a bit of an odd choice here from the Diamond player, but it's Diamond League. What can you expect? This is what we get. Overlord for AlphaStar, going to move into the main base and scout. So far, these Marines haven't actually found one of the Overlords. Like, great pathing here from AlphaStar, avoiding getting caught. The Terran player does throw up a command center, so he's like, open 3 racks. And then he's getting a delayed CC. This right here is an odd build. Now, let's take a look here. Ling Speed is on the way for AlphaStar. No surprise there. A tech lab on the outside of the base for the Terran. If Terran could pick what way our add-ons faced, oh man, it would make life so much easier. If we could just have our add-ons just like build to the left. Like low ground wall-offs would be way more common, as it's completely spawn dependent where your add-on faces. So we have got Stimpack on the way, Combat Shield on the way. It's going to be like some sort of bio timing for this Terran. And if we take a look here, if the Terran was over here, his add-ons would be safe because they'd be facing right, because the add-ons always face to the east. So a slight little tidbit there for those of you who care about add-on facing in StarCraft. But, ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how we are 4 minutes into the game, and this Terran player has already made 7 Marines, let's try and go for 11 likes on this video. That would be great if we can knock that out of the park. I believe we can do it. So, now we're seeing Marauders on the way for the Terran player, which is odd, because Marauders aren't usually a choice versus Zerg. Interestingly enough, there is indeed, or this hasn't actually been scouted by AlphaStar. AlphaStar has not really scouted what's coming its way. It's going for Pneumatized Carapace now. Yet this stim and bio timing will hit before then. The concern is, though, that this is like such a small amount of bio. Like, it's 7 Marines and 3 Marauders. That's not a lot of actual mass. Like, a couple of Lings and some Queens could potentially clean this up. I mean, they're going to have stim, but stimmed units are surprisingly weak. Now, these Marines and Marauders are going to catch an Overlord. That's a nice pickoff. AlphaStar, though, floating or has plenty of supply to build with, though, so it manages to fire up 5 Roaches. It's making some more Overlords. And we take a look here. The Terran player, now as Stim Pack, has these Marauders, gonna nab up another Overlord, which is a nice pickoff. AlphaStar is making plenty, though. But I just don't know what to expect from this attack. Like, what is this gonna get done? This is such an odd build from the Terran, who, by the way, hasn't started a factory or anything for Medivacs behind this. He is building SCVs behind this, I guess, though, so good for him. We take a look. The Bio's gonna move in towards the 3rd base. Is this just gonna be like a way to kill the Zerg's 3rd? As AlphaStar hasn't really spread any creep ahead of this. One Marauder stims forward, manages to snipe off that Queen. There's a lot more Queens coming in with the Roaches. I don't know if the Terran player wants to fight this. I think you just want to go home, but he's going to take the fight. He's focusing down some of the Roaches. He's actually trading out pretty darn well here. Most of the Roaches will fall. The Queens will stay alive because Marauders don't really deal much damage to Queens due to their lack of armor, or due to their lack of armored tag, essentially making them not take much damage at all from Marauders. Let's see, Tech Lab on the way for the Terran player behind this. He's throwing up more and more barracks here. Okay, there we go, a factory's done. He's making a starport now, so he's kind of transitioning, which is quite odd. These Roaches are pursuing this one Marauder here. Some legendary kiting from this lone Marauder. AlphaStar does pull back the injured Roach, though, so it's kind of moot as the Marauder dies. The Terran player is making more Marauders, though. He can drop a ton of Mules because he's got energy on his CC. He did get AlphaStar's 3rd base. The Zerg, though, is also going for a macro hatchery in its main base. Concussive Shell is on the way. Factory producing a siege tank. And yes, we shall see. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Siege tank on the way. I mean, I just said nothing too out of the ordinary here. We're watching a Terran with a low-ground wall-off. He went for stimmed bio-timing against Zerg. Face off against AlphaStar, who's just making some Roaches. This is out of the ordinary. Everything's out of the ordinary. Nothing even weirder, I guess I should say. The Terran is down on supply by quite the margin. However, he will be building a 3rd command center and a 4th, as a matter of fact. Why not do it if you got the money? Make that investment. These few Roaches are looking to maybe get something done, but they will meet their end versus the siege tank and get picked off. Now, AlphaStar is just sort of sitting back at home making Roaches and Ravagers. I mean, Ravagers not bad at all versus Bio. We've been seeing more and more of their corrosive biles used in pro games lately, as players are just getting better and better at using them, better and better every day. The Marauders catch a lone Roach. That poor boy is not going to escape. The Bug gets stomped. And let's take a look. +1 on the way here for the Diamond players. He's got his extra barracks here, so he probably wants to get add-ons on those. He's just making bio and making siege tanks while this is going on. He's kind of moving out again. This guy goes for weird attacks, man. He's just got 1 siege tank. He's not brought his other siege tank here, but he will be moving across the map. He's going to see what he can get done. He's half the supply of what AlphaStar has. He's 29 Roaches is a lot of Roaches. He's going to siege the tank here, but this tank can absolutely not cover these units, so I appreciate the effort from the Diamond player, but that tank is not going to do a lot to help out. It's there for moral support and moral support only. The bio gets lifted up here. The Terran player has to pull back. You cannot go up that ramp against all that Roach Ravager. Double Evo is now on the way for AlphaStar, as the AI is behind on upgrades. It's going to want to do something about that. AlphaStar almost doubling the supply of its opponent, just with a lot of Roaches and Ravagers. The Terran player, though, now making some more SCVs, making 4 at a time. He makes 1 orbital command. He fires up an armory, too, to keep his upgrades going. AlphaStar is going to move out on the map. It's going to be potentially going for a big attack here. It's almost maxed out, so you may as well. We'll see if this Terran force is going to be able to pull back the Zerg, though. AlphaStar does decide to pull back as the Roach Warren is under fire. That gets picked off, so a cool move from the Terran. He's just going to have to retreat with this Bio, though. There's no way he can engage this much Roach and Ravager. Bio does well against Roach Ravager, but it does not do well against this much Roach Ravager. The siege tanks are going to help out. The Marauders are standing as tall as they can. I mean, it's going to be a pretty alright trade for the Terran with the siege tank support. But as he didn't have his whole army there, that did not get enough done. Or there was not enough to handle all these Roaches and Ravagers. Looks like these Marines and Marauders getting a good amount of damage done with their drop here. They're going to boost on out of there. The Terran player just producing as much as he can behind this. Well, kind of producing as much as he can behind this. He still hasn't made a lot more add-ons here. He's making an alright amount of stuff. Probably wants to transfer some workers. He's already got his +2 attack queued up. Dropping mules at his 3rd base, which he's going to make a planetary. And, yeah, nothing significant going on right now. No attacks coming in just yet. Vikings are on the way for the Terran, interestingly enough. I'm not sure what those are for, whether they're to counter, say, potential Broodlords. Is that what's on his mind? Well, AlphaStar has no intention of going to Broodlords just yet, though. We have not seen any Infestors, anything like that yet. Or no Infestation Pit. Lots of Lings are on the way for AlphaStar, as AlphaStar lost its Roach Warren. So it's just going to be making Lings now. It's like, oh, I lost my Roach Warren. I guess I can't make any more Roaches this game. We do see another Roach Warren get fired up, though. The 2-2 upgrades are on the way for AlphaStar, so it's going to be heading towards an upgrade lead. The Diamond player going to be moving across the map with his Liberators. He's going to set these up, maybe potentially to siege and cover here. Cover the attack for this Bioforce for these siege tanks as they move on in. AlphaStar is going to have to react to this. Ling speed isn't quite yet done to help out with this army. The tanks, though, are sieging up a little bit late here. The Zerg is going to push forward. This is actually a pretty good engagement, I'd say, for the Terran, as the tanks are now set up. The Bio is trading out okay. The Corrosive Balls are getting some nasty hits, though. Liberator helping out, doing what it can, cleaning out a lot of these Roaches. The Viking's going to land to offer more support here. The Terran player just wants to be making as many units as he can. The Liberators and Siege Tanks, though, are getting off some great shots, cleaning out a lot of these Roaches and Ravagers. The Lings, though, will close the distance on these Siege Tanks. Going to clean those out. The drop of the Natural is still going on, though, getting a bit of damage done. Siege Tank hitting the 4th base. We see 13 more Roaches get fired up for AlphaStar. This is just a scrappy, derpy game of Starcraft 2. +2 is now on the, or is still on the way for the Diamond player. He never built a second eBay, so those upgrades are slow. I'd say this is going alright for the Diamond player, though. He's taken a 4th base. He is making more SCVs, so his count's getting up there now. Liberator's got a good amount of damage done. 21 kills on that Liberator. Siege Tank on the way to more of those tanks. The second eBay does go up now. We're seeing 2 more factories go up. And the players are even on bases for now, but AlphaStar doesn't seem to be doing too much more. It's really just the Diamond player dictating the pace of this game by going for the attacks. AlphaStar tends to be a little bit idle in these lower iterations, which we see right now. It's really kind of just sitting back, making units, derping out, doing the usual AlphaStar stuff, all the while the Diamond player has got himself a pretty good army supply for now. He's got a lot of Medivacs, he's making more Marauders, more Marines, and there's really nothing that AlphaStar is making that necessarily counters that. There's no Infestors on the way, there's no Banelings just yet. We are seeing a Spire get thrown up by AlphaStar, which is quite curious. But for now, nothing else really has been, stood out for AlphaStar doing anything. I'm kind of concerned that it's just going to sit back at home and make Roach Ling until the end of time, till the Terran player finally gets an attack off that kills the AI. And this attack could potentially be the one here. We see these Marines, Marauders, and Siege Tanks going to be crossing the map. Looks like AlphaStar is potentially going for an attack here. However, as the Diamond Terran pushes on in, this is going to pull the AI back. The Siege Tanks are getting set on up. There's a lot of bio here. Quite a lot of bio indeed. AlphaStar will need some good corrosive biles to bring down this force, I feel. AlphaStar looks like it has decided just to go for a counterattack towards the Terran's base, though. The Planetary at the 3rd will be an anchor for him, as he's going to just set his sights on the Zerg's bases while the Zerg is counterattacking. The Terran has the lead in the space trade. He hasn't raised his depots or anything, though, so the Lings will compromise his production here, which is quite concerning for the Diamond player, and he's actually going to bring this force back. He's going to be pulling towards his main base. He's going to try and shut down this Roach Ravager. I'm not sure if this is the right decision or not. It's an odd situation. He loads up into the Medivacs, and he's going to boost all the way home. He's got to be careful where he unloads, though, because this Roach Ravager is going to be waiting for him. Oh, where's he going to unload? Do not unload on top of that Roach Ravager. That will not go well for you. A Siege Tank pops out. Looks like the Diamond player is going to head towards his main base. He's got to be careful, though. If he pushes down this ramp or something and he gets corrosive bile, that will be lights out for him. These Liberators probably want to get set up, too. The bio is going to unload, moving towards the natural. AlphaStar is kind of committed to this attack, however. Yeah, quite committed, as we are seeing these Siege Tanks take out a lot of what AlphaStar has. The bio is going to push after these Roaches and Ravagers, getting right on top of it. No corrosive biles to cover AlphaStar's retreat, so the Zerg is going to lose most of its supply. Corrosive biles are now going down, but they are missing entirely. Bad corrosive biles from AlphaStar, and the Zerg army gets cleaned out. Now, we have seen mutas get made from AlphaStar, though. These fly boys are going to do well against the Marauders and tanks, so the question is there enough Marines for the Diamond player to counter these? And I'd say yes, there is. +3 attack is now done for the Diamond player, too. He's got no armor upgrades on the way, interestingly enough. We see 15 more mutas for AlphaStar. We see Banelings for AlphaStar. If by some chance there's a good enough surround, if the Banelings get on in, I'd believe for AlphaStar, as we see more and more mutas popping on out, it's going to be a count of 24 mutas. Not a bad amount at all. In the hands of someone who micros these correctly, I'd say that there's probably a good chance that they can pull something out of this, but for now, it's going to be tough. Banelings roll forward, mainly connect on the Siege Tanks, not getting a lot done there. And we are seeing the Diamond player. He's going to push on in. The Lings are going to engage, try and surround the bio. The mutas dealing as much damage as they can. If they can pick off all the Marines, or enough of the Marines, they can snowball against this and potentially win out. It's going to be close. The Marines, though, with their superior upgrades, are cutting through the mutas. The count of the mutas, though, it's still 15. It looks like they will win out against the Marines. They will force the Terran player back. More and more Lings popping out to clean out this army. The mutas then can deal with all the medivacs after this, being a nice pickoff for AlphaStar. If these mutas pursue the medivacs, that would be good to see. For now, though, they're just taking ages to clean up these Marauders, as the Marauders have the +2 armor, and the mutas have no attack upgrades. We see 3 Thors on the way for the Diamond player, the natural response to mutas at the 18-minute mark in the game. AlphaStar has a couple of bases still, but it's really running out of gas here. It's not really macroing anymore. 8 turrets are on the way. For the Diamond player, he's just got a much higher supply. Mutas going down to turrets, not getting the pickoffs they need or anything. I'm not sure what pickoffs they would need. I think it's just a simple math problem at this point, that one number's bigger than the other, as the Zerg doesn't really have any comeback mechanic in his arsenal. Maybe if AlphaStar got a counterattack off and pulled the Terran back and forth multiple times, then I'd believe, but for now, AlphaStar is having a really rough go of it. 5 more racks on the way for the Diamond player, realizing that he had way too much money and he needs to spend it. He's going to float over his main to secure this base. Mutas trying to pick off any medivacs they can, but they're eating nasty Thor shots. The Diamond player unloading Thors on top of the mutas. AlphaStar is going to lose essentially all of its mutalisks, and that is completely lights out for AlphaStar. So, we have got AlphaStar making a ton of mutas in this game. Like, playing against some very odd Diamond Terran play, but well done to the Diamond player, able to beat AlphaStar. Not many players can say they beat AlphaStar or even got to play AlphaStar. But this guy did, and he can say he beat the infamous AI. So, ladies and gentlemen, reminder, if you enjoyed this video, I think we agreed upon like 11 likes or something. Let's try and hit that number. Hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, as I put out StarCraft 2 content on the daily. And we're trying to break 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's our goal. Join the Discord if you want to hang out. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.